Shining Ones, skills on the platform. This is the weekly oracle read for our air signs. All right. Air signs: Aquarius, Libra, and Gemini. Okay. Let's get it for our air signs. Let's get into this. All right. So what came out for the air sign? I just shuffled the cards just so you guys know. This what came out for our air signs. Okay. Now, the moon came out for our air signs. All right. So, air signs, you possibly may be dealing with Cancer heavy. All right. Just want to throw that in there. All right. Now, the moon is also not considered a planet by modern day standards, but it is included in alchemy as the polar opposite of the sun. Okay? The moon represents femininity. The moon goddess, Artemis in Greece, Diana in Rome. And the calming and reasoning processes associated with passivity and emotions. Okay? However, do not mistake passivity for weakness. The moon is a reminder that immediate action is not always the correct path to take when tackling a situation. Okay? So, for our air signs, being that the air sign is more on the masculine energy, right? Air signs are communication, taking action in a lot of the sense, right? Being that air signs are in a more of a masculine energy, they tend to move forward in decisions, and you guys tend to kind of, in a sense, you do think things out, right? But there are times where you'll just move forward, right? Because you're not really thinking about it, because you're kind of already in a mode of, you already know what it is, and you're just continuously just to move forward with it, because that is just the thought process of an air sign. You guys just tend to just move forward with it, right? You do think about things once again, but you'll just kind of be more of kind of a masculine thing and just move forward. Maybe sometimes you're not fully think it through. Okay. Now, however, do not mistake passivity for weakness. Okay. So you're asked with this week's energy for our air signs is to, being that you can be passive, or maybe you should be learning to be more passive, right? Because even though you don't make an initial decision, that doesn't mean make you weak. That's what you may think, right? Sometimes you want to fall back and just get into more of like a feminine energy, air signs, and just really think about what you're going to do before you fully do it, before you fully commit, right? Talk it through, communicate things before you make that decision and move forward with whatever's going on. Okay? You might really appreciate the fact that you fell back on a certain decision and didn't just move forward with it, and then you realize after the fact, like, you made a great decision. Like, I didn't do it because it wasn't, the feeling wasn't quite there, which tends to be, in some cases, beneficial, right? Especially if you were not sure about it, about making that particular decision, right? However, do not mistake passivity for weakness. The moon is a reminder that immediate action is not always the correct path to take when tackling a situation. Okay? Let's move on. Lunar influences brings nurturing calm and is essential in keeping the universe in balance. Okay? It says lunar influences bring nurturing calm. So maybe you need to just take your time and really calm down on certain things, right? Air signs, okay? You know, you may want to go hard on certain things, right? Which is nothing wrong with that. But the scriptures teach that there's a time for everything. There's a time to laugh, there's a time to smile. There's a time to love, there's a time to hate. There's a time to cry, right? There's a time to reap and there's a time to sow. There's a process to everything. Lunar influence brings nurturing calm and is essential to keeping the universe in balance. So that balance, that femininity and the masculinity. See, people get it twisted, whereas, you know, you got women out here, you know, trying to act like men, and then you got men acting like women, right? In a sense, the roles have been reversed, right? And it's caused imbalance. It has caused imbalance in the way we see things, right? People may think that we're further along, but if there's an imbalance, we're really not. We're not as advanced. People are not as advanced as they really think they are. You've probably been tricked and don't even realize it. But one day you will. One day you're going to realize, like, man, I've been tricked, right? So that could be a message for someone. You're probably feeling you've been tricked, you've been betrayed, right? But it's a lesson to learn in that. It's for you to become better. It's for you to grow. It's for you to be able to take that information to others so that way they don't make that mistake. Okay? When it appears in your reading, okay, it indicates that you may have been approaching the situation about which you are inquiring from the wrong direction. So, you may have not really been looking things in a higher state of mind, right? You may not have been considering other ways of looking at it, different perspectives, because there's a certain perspective that you probably concluded in your mind to yourself about a certain situation, right? And you really didn't really take the time to analyze it and really see it for what it really is. You kind of wanted to spin your own thought process on it, on how it should be, right? And not consider other ways of looking at it, opening your mind. And I know air signs, you are about intellect, so I know it's not hard for the air signs to do something like that, right? To get to that higher level of understanding, that higher level of consciousness, that Christ consciousness, right? The moon tells you to focus on, let's move on, passivity, deep thought, and calculated, reasoned actions only after both have been examined. I'm going to say that again, air signs. The moon tells you to focus on passivity, deep thought, and calculated, reasoned actions only after both have been examined. Okay? Now, let's move on. In the inverted, this means when the moon appears inverted, look again to balance. The inverse meaning of both the moon and the sun is to look for that non-chaotic balance. So if your life's in chaos, you need to find a balance where it's not chaotic. This could apply to not all of the air signs, right? Maybe it's one or two of the air signs who needs this message. There could be others who are well beyond this information and knowledge, and I can sense that there are others who are beyond this, who've elevated to levels that most couldn't even fathom. Because air signs get it done. They get it shaken. They make things happen. These are for the ones who possibly trying to elevate. Consider that, right? The inverse meaning of both the moon and the sun is to look for that non-chaotic balance between the two. Okay? That balance. So listen, air signs, go read all the other oracle readings because it all ties in some way, shape, or form. You can get jewels from all of the oracle readings. So watch all of them. Okay? Because you probably have more than just air in your chart. Most cases. All right? We have different elements within our chart, where we can learn from different aspects of ourself and relate to it and connect and learn from it and benefit and grow. This is all about. That's why I do these reads. All right? Working together, they are invincible and inseparable. Let me go back and read this again. The inverted meaning of the both moon and the sun is to look for the non-chaotic balance between the two. Working together, they are invincible and inseparable. Overbalanced, chaos results. Okay? So you want to focus on balance, right? For our air signs. I don't have to go too much further into it. I'm sure air signs, you guys get the gist of it. I'm going to go ahead and cut this because it's not necessary for me to really go any further. I mean, that's more than enough for you guys to meditate on for this week. Go back, rewatch the video again, listen to it, listen to it again, and you'll probably get something new out of the message after listening to it a couple times, right? So yeah, this is for our air signs. I'm going to go ahead and cut that short now. Peace.